Okay, we're going to start with some tzedakah, the safety of Jewish people everywhere, beyond, close by, everywhere, and for the speedy coming of Mashiach, immediately now. By the way, this isn't just a video. If you're at home and you happen to be watching this video, I don't care if it's in 7 years from now, try to follow along. Okay. Okay, so we actually officially finished the chapter that deals with toveling vessels. However, the very next segment in the Shulchan Aruch deals with a different topic. However, there's one last little bit of toveling vessels that is important to know for this coming segment, which is so the next segment in the Shulchan Aruch is the what deals with the topic of kosherizing your vessels. It's a very fancy word. Kashering is the simple word. If you have a vessel that is not kosher, either you bought it from a non-Jew and they used it for who knows what, or you accidentally made your pots and pans not kosher. So it deals with making your non-kosher utensils kosher. Okay. However, toward the beginning, not right at the beginning, but toward the beginning of this chapter, there's one last little tidbit of information we need to know regarding tevilas kelim, toveling vessels. Okay, so let's see. So the Shulchan Aruch brings an interesting situation. You bought a pot from a non-Jew, okay? Now, let's say that this non-Jew used it for shrimp. I don't know, shrimp's not kosher. So you have to make this pot kosher before you can use it. But there's another thing you need to do. What do we learn past few days, last few classes? You buy a utensil from a non-Jew, you need to tovel it also. The question is, what do you do first? So the Shulchan Aruch brings down an argument between the two of the Rishonim, the great sages, post-Talmudic sages, the Rashba and the Ri Bala Tosfos. These are acronyms for people's names. The Rashba is of the opinion that you actually need to kosher, you have to kasher the keli first, you have to make it kosher first, then you can tovel it. To the extent that if you toveled it first, and then you tried to make it kosher, you have to tovel it again, because the first time didn't work. The Ri is of the opinion that, no, you don't need to tovel it first. You don't need to kosher it first. You can tovel it, even though it's not kosher, and then you can make it kosher. All good. So practically, when you have two opinions, and you can easily accomplish, you can do something that would be fitting with both opinions, you do it, at least initially. So the Shulchan Aruch rules that if you have a vessel that needs to be both koshered and toveled, you initially should tovel it first. You should kosher it first, according to the opinion of the Rashba. And the Ri, he's happy with this too, because he says you don't need to do this, but it's okay if you do that. Yeah, so he says, so the Shulchan Aruch records that, initially you should follow the opinion of the Rashba, that you should kosher the keli first and then tovel it. Okay. Now, what if you did it the other way around? What if you toveled them first, and then you went to kosher them? So the Shulchan Aruch records both opinions clearly. He says, if you toveled them and then you koshered them, it's fine. That's what the Shulchan Aruch says. Rabbi Yosef Cairo, the Mechaber, the author of the Shulchan Aruch, writes it unequivocally, almost, that it's fine if you did it that way. Then he says, V'yesh imrim, and there are those who say, there's another opinion, it's the opinion of the Rashba, shetzorich lachzer lahatbilon. You need to actually go back, kosher make sure that the vessel's koshered, and then tovel it again. Okay. What do we do? Now, practically, you have a thing you bought from a non-Jew, a pot, okay, a shrimp pot, and you toveled it first, okay, and then you koshered it. Do you need to tovel it again? I don't know. The Shulchan Aruch records two opinions. He doesn't tell me which one to follow. He says you don't need to table it again. It's fine. You already tabled it. And he says v'yesh omrim, there are those who say that you do need to table it again. Which one do you do? So there's a rule regarding when the Shulchan Aruch brings two opinions in this manner. He brings a first opinion, he just brings it as it is, and then he says v'yesh omrim, and there are those who say a different opinion. And the rule is that stam v'yesh omrim halachik stam. This is a general rule. I don't know if it always applies, but when you have in the Shulchan Aruch an opinion simply brought, just as is, and then is brought another opinion in the name of yesh omrim, there are those who say, the rule is you follow the first opinion. So in this case, if you bought a non-kosher keli, a vessel from a non-Jew, and you toveled it first, and then you koshered it, just according to this information, you would not need to tovel it again. The Shach is one of the main commentaries on the Shulchan Aruch. He almost ignores the first opinion, which seemingly we should follow, and he quotes the second opinion, who says that you have to tovel it again, and he says, it seems that you should actually tovel it again without making a blessing. Since there's a difference of opinion whether you do need to tovel it or you don't need to, tovel it again without a blessing. From the fact that the Shach goes and quotes the second opinion, and he comments on it and saying what you should do, sees clear that the Shach is ruling like the second opinion that you do need to tovel it again without a blessing. Okay? I will point out on the bottom of the page, there's the commentary of the Pischei Tshuva, we've mentioned him a couple of times. He brings from the Sefer, the book called the Yiriyas Ha'el, who disagrees with this. And he says that the main opinion is like the opinion of the Rashba, the second opinion, that you need to tovel it a second time. And if that's what the halacha is, that's what the rule is, that's what the final law is, then you need to tovel it again with a blessing, not like the Shach said. What do we practically do? What I was taught was that if you have the situation and you bought a non-Jewish a vessel from a non-Jew that's not kosher, and you toveled it first, you were not supposed to. You're supposed to kosher it first, and you toveled it first anyway. Then you koshered it. You need to tovel it again without a blessing, like the Shach said. Okay. Tomorrow, God willing, we're going to move on to a new topic. I still haven't decided what yet, but a new topic in Halacha and Jewish law, and hopefully it will be very exciting. See you tomorrow.